Namaskritya naram chaiva narottamam devim saraswatim vyasam tato jayam udirayet. Om Adnanti Mirandasya Dhananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshadarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So welcome again on this third and last session of our discussion on the 10th canto, first chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam. So far we saw that Srimad Bhagavatam is non-different from Kṛṣṇa, and because Bhagavatam is non-different from Kṛṣṇa, the best way to understand Kṛṣṇa is through Srimad Bhagavatam. And Srimad Bhagavatam cannot be approached directly. Srimad Bhagavatam, to enter into Srimad Bhagavatam, we have to take the position of the servants of the servants of the servants of the gurus in the parampara and the acharyas in the parampara. So we take their shelter to understand the real message, sum and substance of Bhagavatam. And hence our position is like that person who is licking the mouth of the calf which is drinking the milk of the cow, and whatever is left over, that is relished by us. We saw yesterday the 7th verse where Parikshit Maharaj is telling Shukdev Goswami, please describe Viryani Tasya Akhila Deha Bhajam. Please describe the pastimes of that great Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then we saw how the words of Parikshit Maharaj are understood in a very sweet manner by Shukdev Goswami. We continue with our understanding. So Shukdev Goswami ultimately thinks that both Mrityu and Amritam is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And then the next verse is Rohinyas Tanayah Prokto Ramaha Shankarashanastvaya. So here Parikshit Maharaj, now after establishing his adhikar to listen to the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, he is going further detail by saying, just in case Shukdev Goswami would have said, since you know, you have told me that your mother was, dedicated to the Lord, your grandmother, your grandfather, everyone in your family. So I'm sure you would have known everything from the Lord, everything from your family members. So there is no need for me to try and answer your questions. So thinking that he may say such, he may try to avoid speaking the 10th canto, Parikshit Maharaj immediately says, well, actually there are also some confusions in my mind. So not only should you tell me the pastimes of the Lord, but you should also clarify these confusions. And I'm not sure I understand them. So one of the confusion he has, he is putting that forward in this verse. He says, Rohinyas Tanayah, the son of Rohini, Proktaha. Previously you said, Proktaha is past passive participle, which means you had said in the past, which means in the 9th canto, 24th chapter, verse number 46, you said that Baladev or Balaram is the son of Rohini. And then, and we can see that that is the normal view as well. You had Yadu Maharaj, which is the Yadava dynasty. There are 74 generations between Yadu and Vrishni and Andhaka. And Vrishni is also a Yadava king. And from Vrishni, you have two lines, Devamitha's line and Devamitha's line, which Surasena and Parjanya. And this Parjanya line is where Nanda Maharaj is born. And in Shurasena's line is where Vasudeva is appearing. And on the other side, Andhaka's side, you have Ugrasena and Devaka. And Ugrasena's son is Kamsa. Devaka's daughter is Devaki. So they are brother and sister. Shurasena, his son is Vasudev. And Vasudev has two queens, Devaki and Rohini. And generally it is understood that Krishna is son of Devaki, Balaram is son of Rohini. So the question that he has is, Krishna and Balaram, if they were sons of Yashoda and Rohini, or at least that's how they were raised as foster sons, in reality, whose son was Balaram? Because you once said that Balaram is the son of Rohini, but then the next line he says, Devakya Garbha Sambandha. But you have also said that Baldev is Devaki's son. So in ninth canto, Shukdev Goswami has said that Balram is son of Rohini, and then he has also said Balram is son of Devaki, or he's connected with the womb of Devaki, or he was born from Devaki's womb. So this is very confusing. And Parikshit Maharaj says, I'm very confused. Devakya Garbha Sambandha. He has Rohinyas Tanayaha Prokto. Previously you said he's Rohini's son. And also then previously you said he is connected to Devaki. How is that possible? Kutaha. How is that possible? Dehantaram vina. Without a person in ordinary sense dies and is reborn, then he can take birth in another person's womb. But in the same life, how can the person be two mothers' child? It's not possible. So it's very confusing, your words in the ninth canto. So Shukdev Goswami acknowledges that with a nod. And Shukdev Goswami will answer that question. Today I am going to reveal the answer to you, which is a very, very sweet and really a mystery, which not many people in this universe understand. The mystery of the appearance of Baladev and Krishna. So you see, Rohini, if you just stay with where my mouse pointer is, Rohini was in Mathura. She was impregnated by Vasudev before he got married, just before he got married to Devaki. After getting married to Devaki, immediately they were thrown in prison. And then Vasudeva impregnated Devaki. So Rohini became pregnant before Devaki. First month of Rohini's pregnancy is 6 months, and first month of Devaki's pregnancy and 6 months. On the other side, I haven't, you can read here, Yashoda and Mahavan. Mother Yashoda was also pregnant through Nanda Maharaj. And she was pregnant at the same time, round about the same time when Devaki became pregnant, was when Yashoda Maya became pregnant. And so, after the first 6 months of the personality being in Devaki's womb, and that personality in Devaki's womb was the 7th child of Devaki. The 7th child of Devaki. After 6 months, Devaki had a miscarriage, and she was very, very upset. Kamsa was very, very happy. He thought, just see, because of my vow to kill all the sons of Devaki, the sons are scared, and before they are born, the miscarriage happens. So Devaki was very, very sad. But actually, the real mystery of the miscarriage is that Devaki, as the seventh child, she had Balaram in her womb. And that Balaram was mysteriously transferred by Yogamaya. Balaram is Devaki's seventh son, was transferred over into Rohini's womb, where Shankarshan was actually, it is the other way around. Rohini, when she was pregnant with Balaram. And the Shankarshan which was born was transferred over into Rohini's womb, and they became one. They are one personalities. So this is how Balaram is both son of Devaki and also of Rohini. And then at that point, when the seventh son died as a miscarriage, Vasudev, he sent a message through a messenger. He was in prison, and he somehow arranged for Mother Rohini to be sent to Mahavan, where Nanda Maharaj used to reside. So quickly he was transferred to Mahavan. She was transferred to Mahavan. And in Mahavan, she continued her pregnancy. So when she came to Mahavan, she was already pregnant. She continued her pregnancy, but instead of delivering on the ninth month, she continued her pregnancy up to the 16th month. And then she delivered Balram. Because Shankarshan had just appeared in her womb, there was another 9 months extension. So she continued, and then Sankarshan was born. Sankarshan, as in Balaram, was born. He was delivered in Mahavan. What happened here in Devaki's womb? That Devaki became pregnant with the eighth child, and after 9 months, she delivered Kṛṣṇa. So Kṛṣṇa and Balaram, they were born not very far apart. And over there in Mahavan, in Vraj, Mother Yashoda, when she was 9 months pregnant, after the finishing of her ninth month, she delivered twins. She delivered Yogamaya and Kṛṣṇa. This is Yashoda Nandan Kṛṣṇa, Nanda Nandan Kṛṣṇa, Vraj Kṛṣṇa. So she delivered twins, Yogamaya and Kṛṣṇa. And because Vasudeva was afraid that Kamsa will kill Kṛṣṇa, he transferred Kṛṣṇa. He went to, we all know the pastime, he went to Mahavan, and over there he put his son, and instead he took the daughter of Mother Yashoda back with him. And when he came back, the prisoners guards who were all half asleep, they all came back to consciousness, and they informed Kamsa that a daughter has been born. And immediately Kamsa came to kill the daughter. As soon as he was about to smash the daughter against the wall, the daughter lifted up high in the air, and she turned herself into Durga Devi, Mahamaya, and she chastised Kamsa and warned him, "You fool, your vanquisher, the killer, has already been born." And Kamsa became so scared. So this is the mystery. And over there in Mother Yashoda's house, this Kṛṣṇa, which was Vasudeva Kṛṣṇa, who was transferred by Vasudeva, this Kṛṣṇa known as Vasudeva Kṛṣṇa, he merged with, and when I say merged, it's not like a merging in classical sense, but he became the same personality as Nanda Nandan Kṛṣṇa, Yashoda Nandan Kṛṣṇa. So there was no difference between them. So Kṛṣṇa, Yogamaya had been taken by Vasudeva. So who was left here was Kṛṣṇa, and Kṛṣṇa appeared to have taken birth from Mother Yashoda. So actually, Kṛṣṇa is both Devaki's son and Yashoda's son. Similarly, Balram is both the son of Rohini and of Devaki. So this is the great mystery of the Lord's appearance, both Balram and Kṛṣṇa. And it was done to satisfy the purpose that the Lord had appeared for. Primary purpose being to increase the love of his devotees. That was the primary purpose. And hence the Lord appeared amongst his devotees. Then the question may be, how old is Balaram compared to Krishna? So recently I had a friend who had come to my house, a devotee couple, and they asked me this question. Balaram is 1 year older than Krishna, isn't it? And I just said yes, because I didn't want to go through all this detail. And there is evidence in Brahma Vaivarta Purana Krishna Janma Khand. We find that Balaram is mentioned as 1 year older than Krishna. But actually, if you see all of the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharyas and all of the other Acharyas, they have said that may be the case, that Balaram is 1 year older than Krishna in some other kalpa. However, for this kalpa, this day of Brahma, and based on the commentaries of all the Acharyas, we find that Balaram actually was only about a week older than Krishna. Now, of course, Srila Prabhupada, he writes in his commentary, Balaram was only 15 days older than Krishna. It seems it could be a typographical error or something, but even if we accept it is 15 days, he is very close to how old Balaram was. Jiva Goswami also confirms in his commentary to the same verse that Balaram was only slightly older in birth than Krishna. And Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur confirms in several places that we can confirm this also because if you see, development of both the children was similar. They both started crawling at the same age of 6 months. They both started, to go and tend the cows at the same age, 3 years. So if everything is same, Balram cannot be 1 year older. And in fact, the other thing is the name giving ceremony of both the child were done together by Nand Maharaj. That would not have been possible if Balram was already 1 year old. Then it would have been too late for his name to be given. The other reason is Rohini could not have become mysteriously pregnant. It would have been a talk of the town if Rohini was not pregnant and she went to Nand Bhavan and became pregnant. People would ask, how is it that Maharaj Vasudev's wife is pregnant after coming here? Whose son does she have? People would ask such questions. And hence, since we see that such questions are not asked, since we don't find any such mention in the scriptures, we understand that Mother Rohini was pregnant with Balaram even before. She was pregnant with Shankarshan before. And then when Balaram appeared, he appeared about the same time as Lord Krishna. And we can see even practically when we celebrate this year, for example, 3rd August was Purnima, full moon day when Balramji appeared, and 11th August is Ashtami, the 8th day when Lord Krishna appears. So there's just 8 days apart. And actually several other acharyas have said that they are only 8 days apart. So this is the great mystery. Parikshit Maharaj then continues. He says, Kasmat Mukundo Bhagavan. Why did Mukunda, Bhagavan Mukunda, so why did he Pituhu Gehad Vrajam Gataha? Why did he leave his father's house, Pituhu Gehat, from his father's house, Vrajam Gataha? He attained or he reached or he went to Vraja. Vraja also means a forest. Why did he leave his father's house? The reason he is asking is because he says Kasmat Mukunda. Mukunda means one who liberates. Moksham dadati Mukunda. Mukunda is he who gives liberation. So how can he run away from his father's house, fearing Kamsa? Is that why he ran away? This is another doubt I have. Kvavasam Gnatibhi Sardham. And when did he reside with his family members? So Parikshit Maharaj is referring to Gnatibhi, family members, as Devki, Vasudev, and Vasudev's brothers, etc. When did he reside with them? Kritvan Satvatam Patihi. And how did he reside? When? Satvatam Patihi, the Lord of the Satvatas. So we see that Mukunda means one who gives liberation to the yogis. The Supreme Lord, he is meditated by the yogis and they attain liberation because of Mukunda. And however, when Shukadeva Goswami heard these words, all the pastimes of Krishna came in front of his eyes. When he heard Pituhu Gehad Vrajam Gataha, from the house of his father, he went to the forest. At that time, immediately, Shukdev Goswami thought of Vrajamandala. Vrajamandala is 168 miles in diameter, and the center of this circle is Mathura. And you draw a diameter of 168 miles, and that is your Choriashi Kosh Vrajamandal Parikrama. So actually, if you see Agra, Taj Mahal, all this is part of Vraja in the classical sense. Modern day inner Vraja that most people call Vraja or accept as Vraja is this white area that we see. So if we zoom in, we see this is the area that is nowadays called as Vraja, and you will recognize several places here. And you can see the beautiful Yamuna river flowing through Vraja is flowing near Vrindavan. Yamuna is flowing near Mathura and also not very far from Mahavan. So you can see how Yamuna river flows. So immediately when Parikshit Maharaj said, why did he leave his father's house to go to a forest? Immediately Shukdev Goswami remembered Vrajdham. And he remembered how at birth, the Lord appeared in Mathura. But then, after taking birth and revealing his real form, what did he do? He left his father's house. Pitu Geha Vrajam Gataha. Which Vraja he went to? He went to Mahavan. So when, as you can see here, what separates Mathura from Mahavan is this river Yamuna, you can see. So Vasudev, he crossed over the Yamuna, as we all know, to go to Mahavan, where the king of Gopas, Nanda Maharaj, who was actually a family friend and he's also a relative. We saw how both Vasudev and Nanda Maharaj, they are both connected, right? So Vasudev thought, if I send this child to the village, then Kamsa will not get a sniff. So he went and dropped Kṛṣṇa in Mahavan. So it was in Mahavan that Kṛṣṇa lived for 3 years and 4 months. That's where Nandotsav was celebrated. That's where when Kṛṣṇa was 1 week old, Putana came to kill him. Shakatasur came when he was merely 3 months old. Name-giving ceremony of both the children was done in complete in complete silence, without telling anyone. No other Gopa or Gopi was invited to the name-giving ceremony. And Garga Muni did the name-giving ceremony on the 100th day for both the children, very quietly, because they did not want to make a big show and pomp, because Putana had already come and killed so many children of Vraja. So Nanda Maharaj had already got a hint that Kamsa may send more demons to kill my child if I reveal that I have my child and this is my child. If name is given, then by name it is much easier to identify the child. Putana could not identify, so she had to go around. But once the name is given, he will be easily identified. So he wanted to do it very quietly. Krishna started crawling along with Balaram at 6 months. He started stealing at 6 months, 7 months. He killed Trinavarta when he was 1 year old. And the Damodar Leela happened on the day of Diwali when Krishna was between 2 and 3 years old. Some acharyas say he was three, some say he was two. And then when he was 3 years old, he did the Leela with the fruit vendor. So here we can see how the entire Vraja, Mahavan, was happy to see Krishna, and the Damodar Leela that happened when Krishna was merely 2 or 3 years old. And then this is the last Leela that happened in the palace of, near the palace of King Nanda Maharaj. This Leela was, Krishna wants to have fruits from a fruit seller, and the fruit seller, just looking at the charming form of the Lord would practically be naked. He's only a 3 year old. So, looking at the Lord, she gives the fruits to the Lord, and in return, the Lord fills her basket, which is empty of fruits. He fills it with the most wonderful Vaidurya gems. So then Parikshit Maharaj continues, Kvavasam Gnati Bhi Sardham. If he went to the forest, when did he come back and reside with his own Gnati? See, even in India nowadays, it's reduced. But previously, Gnati was a big concept. Gnati means those who you know and who are born in the same caste, same category, or same class as you. Unfortunately, it was a corrupted system of the original Varnashram system. But previous ages, generally, a Brahmana's son would be a Brahmana because he would be born with all the right samskaras, given the right degree of training, and his profession would also be that of a Brahmana. Now it is not the case in Kali Yuga. But generally speaking, in previous yugas, it was the case. So here Parikshit Maharaj is thinking, if Krishna is actually a Kshatriya born of Vasudeva and Devaki, when did he come back and associate with his own people? But actually, if you see, it is said, when Krishna left Vrindavan, he tells the Brajavasis, Gnatin vo drashtume shyamaha. I will definitely come back, my beloved fellow men. He calls them fellow men. Gnati means fellow men. The Gnati of a prince is other princes and the kings. But the Gnati of a cowherd boy is cowherd man and other cowherd women. So Krishna does not consider himself to be associated with Devaki and Vasudeva or any kings. He considers himself to be associated with cowherds. And hence when Shukdev Goswami heard this, Gnati Bihi Saha Sardham, with his own people, means the cowherd boys, where did he reside after these events of Putna and Shakatasur trying to kill Krishna? Actually, there was a conference. This photograph, by the way, shows that how Krishna took personal interest in the affairs, and he considered all the Gopas to be his own Nati, to be his own people, his own fellow men. So here he is advising Nanda Maharaj about, why are you worshipping Indra? Why don't you worship Govardhan instead? So that's only because he considers himself to be a Gopal. So he appeared in Mathura, was transferred to Mahavan, and when he was 3 years and 4 months old, at that time, all the Gopas, they had a conference. And Upananda, one of the brothers of Nanda Maharaj, he made a proposal. He said that Mahavan is very famous. Mahavan is also known as Brihatvan. It's a very famous place, And Nanda Maharaj, your palace is known to everyone. So Krishna is not safe here. Balram is not safe here. We should go to some forest where nobody, will come and bother us. The demons will not come. So they all decided, accepted the proposal of Upananda, and they crossed the Yamuna. So you can see Mahavan is here. They walked all across and they crossed the Yamuna on the other side to Vrindavan. So from 3 years, 4 months to 6 years, 8 months, Krishna resided in Vrindavan. However, unfortunately for the Vrajavasis, the demons didn't stop. Vatsapal came to kill Krishna. He was a little calf because at 3 years and 4 months, Vatsasur came. He was a little calf. At 3 years and 4 months, Krishna and Balram they became Vatsapal. Vatsapal means the tenders of calves. So he was not Gopal yet. He was still Vatsapal. First he was Vatsapal. At 5-year-old he became Gopal. So he was tending the calves, learning how to control the calves. So when he went to the forest with the calves to feed them rich green grass, the forest of Vrindavan and Govardhan, at that time Vatsasur came, who assumed the form of a calf. And at 3 years, 6 months, Krishna killed Vatsasur. And then Bakasur. And then Aghasur was killed by Balaram. Krishna and Balaram both. Then Brahma Vimohan Leela happened, where for 1 year Brahma stole away all the gopas between 4 and 5 years old. Yeah, that is when that 1 year of Krishna's pastime. And then on, when he was 5 years old, what we celebrate today as Gopashtami is when the Lord was formally given the control of tending the cows. So he formally became Gopal. But then still there were many demons who would come. Dhenukasur, Kaliya, Pralambasur, all of them came. And Krishna had developed and started to tease the gopis and also have many wonderful pastimes with the gopis. He would attract the gopis with his beautiful flute which he had started to play. And that is the Venu Gita in Srimad Bhagavatam, is when he is 6 years old. Actually, in Srimad Bhagavatam, all these pastimes are in the same sequence as they are mentioned here. Finally, he did the Chir Haran Leela, in which he stole the clothes of the gopis. He was about 7 years old, 6 years, 8 months old, when he did this Leela. This was the final Leela that he did in Vrindavan. Because there were so many demons coming to Vrindavan, he was really, the most charming, most beautiful, and the most attractive child in Vraja. So everyone in Vraja was very deeply concerned about Krishna. So then Nanda Maharaj took a decision. Let us go to Nandishwar Parvat. Nandishwar Parvat is an incarnation of Lord Shiva. It's like the hump of Nandi. It represents Lord Shiva and is the hump of Nandi. And this Nandi Parvat has been protected by Lord Shiva, that no demon can ever approach or set his or her foot on, demon or demoness, set his or her foot on the Nandishwar Parvat. So they all left for Nandishwar Parvat. And with them, who went? Vrishabhanu Maharaj also went. And he took an adjoining Parvat, adjoining mountain, which was called Brahmagiri, which represented Lord Brahma, which also had the boon that no demon will ever come and attack that place. So we see how Krishna beautifully, when he was Vatsapal, he was tending the calves, Then he's killing Vatsasura, and then he's having these beautiful pastimes, sharing his meal with his gopas. And Brahma, as you can see in this photograph, you see Brahma, he's becoming very, very concerned. He's thinking, how can this person be the Supreme Lord? How is that possible? Because you can see Krishna, he's offering from his own plate, he's offering to Madhumangala. This is Madhumangala. But you can see other Gopas, this Gopa and this Gopa, they both are offering their own meals to Krishna. And you can see how this Gopa is trying to feed with both hands another Gopa. And everyone is trying to feed each other. These two are feeding each other, they are talking. So it was just like ordinary children eating from each other's plates. That Brahma could not understand how the Supreme Lord, who is the most revered, can ever have such interaction with ordinary mortals. He thought these Gopas were all ordinary mortals. So he stole all of them. So that's the Brahma Vimohana Leela. And Krishna himself assumed the form of all the Gopas. And when Brahma saw, he realized they were all four-armed forms of Vishnu. And he was shaken. So we see the Brahma Vimohana Leela. And the last Leela that he performed in Vrindavan, while he was in Vrindavan, was the Chirharan Leela, where he, very casually, as you can see, he's very casually, he's teasing, pointing to the gopis and telling them, I have taken all your clothes. I am your real husband. Why are you shy? Kvavasam gnati bhi sardham. When Shukdev Goswami heard these words, he continued to think further that where else did Krishna go? So from Mahavan to Vrindavan, again they went deep inside to Nandishwar Parvat and established what we today known as Nandagaon or Nandagram. And adjacent, Vrishabhanu Maharaj established Vrishabhanupur or Barsano or Barsana. So Barsana is just adjacent to Nandagaon, and from Barsana you can see the hilltop of Nandagaon. From Nandagaon's hilltop you can see Barsana. And while Krishna was in Nandagaon between 6 years and 8 months to 11 years and 6 months old, he performed several pastimes like sending his cowherd friends to the Brahma Patnis to ask for some of the Havya. Govardhan Puja and lifting of Govardhan Hill was done when he was 7 years old. Indra's pride was crushed. Mother Surbhi came and showered, did Abhishek of Lord Krishna with her own milk. Nanda Maharaj was captured by Varunadev, and then how Krishna went and showed all the Gopas the Vaikuntha planets. Sharat Purnima, the beautiful Rasa dance, happened when he was 8 years old. Dola Purnima is when Shankachuda was killed. This is when we do Hindola. Dola means swing. It's the swing festival. It's very beautiful in Vraj. And it's on the day of Holi in March it happens. And then Yugala Geet, which is sung by the gopis in separation from Krishna. There are 5 Gitas which are very, very sweet in Srimad Bhagavatam. So Yugal Geet is one of them. Pranaya Geet, Yugala Geet, these are Brahmara Geet and Gopi Geet, as everyone knows Gopi Geet. So Bahulashtami, on the same day Arishtasur was killed, and Narada by that time decided that now the time has come for Krishna to come out of Vraj and actually kill Kamsa, because Kamsa is creating havoc along with all his friends. So Narad Muni went to Kamsa and he said, I want to reveal to you the person you are looking for His name is Kṛṣṇa, and he is son of Nanda Maharaj. And then Kamsa says, oh, now I know. So I will send a messenger, Akrura, to Nandagaon, and I will tell Akrura to invite Kṛṣṇa. Actually, there is another pastime. From Mathura, you can see Mathura is here. Actually, Kamsa said, he has killed so many demons, I will personally go. So from Mathura, if you see where my arrow is pointing, Kamsa took this path via Govardhan. He went straight to Barsana, and from Barsana, as he was about to go to Nandagaon, just as he entered Barsana, Kamsa transformed into a big, fat, old lady as he entered Barsana. And all the gopis of Barsana, they said, who is this big fat lady? Where does she come from? It was actually Kamsa. And then they engaged that Kamsi, they gave him the name Kamsi, and they engaged her to dry the cow patties. You know what cow dung patties are? The dry cow dung. So Kamsi was given that role. And every day she was lifting the dry cow dung patties, and she couldn't understand what happened, how she transformed into a woman, harmless woman. She had no power, no strength. And the ministers in Kamsa's court were worried. Where is Kamsa? He is gone. And he is, for 6 months, they kept him like this. And then when he, or Kamsi, she pulled her ears and she bowed down and said, please, let me go back to Mathura. The gopis, they said, okay, you can take the bath in Ghevar Kund and you can go to Mathura. But remember, if you ever dare to step foot anywhere near Barsana or Nandagaon, you shall be finished. Not finished as in be killed, but you will become impotent, or you will become woman, or something else like a little creature. So Kamsa understood, yes, they have actually taken shelter of Brahma and Shiva. I cannot go there. So he had to pull Kṛṣṇa out of Nandagaon. He could not go again. So he sent Akrura. So Akrura, he went and he told Nanda Maharaj, actually Nanda Maharaj, you know, and the king knows, that this son of yours, Kṛṣṇa, is actually the son of Vasudeva. And he has been invited by the king for a Dhanur Yadna. Dhanur Yadna, where the king wants to find out who is the most valiant person who can lift the bow. So Dhanur Yajna was performed. Apologies for all the sound because there is some works going on. So sorry, just bear with me. I'm going to see if I can shut that door. Sorry.
Prabhu, can you unmute yourself, Prabhu?
Yes. Apologies for that. I'll continue.
No, not at all. Not at all. Yeah. Thank you.
So then Kṛṣṇa was invited to come out of Mathura, and he came out on the pretext of being invited for this Dhanur Yajna. And just before leaving, in the morning, in the evening, Akrura came, and on the same morning, there was a demon who came, Keshi, and Kṛṣṇa killed Keshi demon, and his name was Keshava. That was the name given to him. he was 11 and a half years old. And the same evening, Akrura came to Nandagaon. And then Akrura took Krishna with him. So you can see Krishna lifting the Govardhan hill, and how everyone with their sticks, you can see these sticks raised, they are all ready in case the Govardhan shakes and starts wobbling, then we will all help Krishna. So that's because out of love, you know, and all the cows and everyone was here. Every pastime we can go into is beautiful. This is Nandagaon. As you can see, it is on a hilltop. This is Nanda Bhavan at the top. And then this is Barsana, is also a hilltop, as you can see. And Ladli Ji Radharani's Mandir is there. And many wonderful pastimes Krishna performed while he was at Barsana Nandagaon, because Radharani and Krishna were in such proximity. He taught, for example, in this pastime, he teaches Srimati Radharani how to play flute. And in another pastime, Manalila in Mangad, Krishna becomes a maid servant, and she comes and she does the nail polish, or some mehendi for Srimati Radharani along with the gopis. So this is all nice leelas that were happening while he was in Nandagaon and Barsana. And here Narada Muni reveals Krishna's identity to Kamsa, and you can see the look on Kamsa's face, so ferocious, so eager to kill. And then all the gopis, as Krishna leaves, all the gopis are fainting. And you can see Srimati Radharani here in blue. She could not resist. Blue is her favorite color. Why? Because Krishna is blue. Yellow is Krishna's favorite color. Why? Because Srimati Radharani is Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi, yellowish. So Srimati Radharani is fainting, and all the gopis cannot bear to see. But Akrura, as heartless as he is, they say, your name is Akrura. Krura means cruel, and Akrura means not cruel. But actually, you are the most cruel because you are taking our Krishna with you. So there are so many other things about this painting, but we cannot discuss because of lack of time. This painting is also one of my favorite. There are so many beautiful things here. You can see the Gopas embracing Balaram. You see Srimati Radharani embracing Krishna. As Krishna's one hand is on the chariot, he is just about to climb. You can see one of his foot. He is just about to climb the chariot. Akrura is saying, please come. You can see Akrura's hand pointing towards the seat. And you see some of the other gopis. This gopi, she is just begging, falling at the floor. Another gopi has really, she cannot see the Lord going. So she's just lying and with her hands, begging. Some gopas, they are crying, sobbing. The cows are just wondering, when will Gopal come back? Even the elderly ladies of Vraja, as you can see, she is also crying. The, the other elderly gopis, they are all standing behind Nanda Maharaj and Mother Yashoda. Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, they had no words left. They could not speak anything. As you can see, they are looking down. They are speechless. They are stunned. And their maid servant, she is also just stunned and standing there. And you can see another gopi here. She is actually, this is the way in Braj they used to give protection to the Lord by taking ensuring that the Lord does not have any evil eye cast on him. They would do this. So you can see how this gopi is actually ensuring that Krishna, you are leaving, but may no evil, may no bad things come upon you. You see so many hundreds of gopis just stunned there. And this gopi is actually holding the reins, stopping Akrura from leaving, from taking them. The peacocks are there, the parrots are there. Some gopis have no strength to even see Krishna go. Others are just taking a distant view and praying with folded hands, paying obeisances. Some others are actually ensuring they have the last look because they know that after this, Krishna would be gone for long. So they are just, having the last look. Others are thinking about all the pastimes that the Lord has played. Others are bowing. And you can see, there is so much more. I will just carry on. So, all this is coming to the mind of Shukdev. And then the last line, Parikshit says, Kritavan Satvatam Patihi. The Lord of Satvata, what did he do? Satvatam Patihi literally means, you see, it's Satvata, and the lineage of Satvata, you have Vasudev, and his son is Krishna. So actually, Parikshit wants to call him Satvata because he is born in the lineage of King Satvata. So that is why Krishna is Satvata. So Satvatam Patihi means the protector of the Sattvatas, of the Satvata lineage. But Shukdev Goswami takes another meaning. Sat means devotees, and Satvata means he who is completely sold out to his devotees. And he immediately thinks how all these different demons, Putna killed so many children in Vraj, Shakatasur came, and so many children were playing, and he would have killed so many of them. Trinavarta, when Trinavarta was killed, Mother Yashoda, and so much of Vraj was ruined. Mother Yashoda is showing her love to Krishna, and all the other gopis are hiding behind and they are looking. And you can see how Trinavarta has died. Satvatam literally means he who protects the Sat, he who protects the devotees of the Lord. So when Shukdev Goswami hears Satvatam Patihi, he interprets it as how the Lord protected his devotees. How wonderfully. Patihi means one who protects, and Satvata means the devotees. Next verse, Parikshit Maharaj continues, Vraje vasan kim akarot. In that forest in Vraj, what did he do? And then what did he do? Madhupuryam Chakeshavaha. When he went to Madhupuri, there was a king named Madhu who established the city of Madhupur, which was later on known as Mathura. Bhrataram Chavadhit Kamsam. And with his brother Avadhit means it is an aorist form, it means killed. Why did Kamsa kill with his brother Matuhu, his mother's brother? So Devki's brother was killed by Krishna. Why? Adha, personally killed. Atad Arhanam, he did not deserve to be killed. He is his uncle. Why did he kill him? So these are the doubts or questions that are asked. So we can see from 11 years old to 25 years old, he went to Mathura. Akrura reaches Mathura on the next day morning. First thing, he is greeted, both children are greeted by Kuvalayapid, who is a mad elephant. Who Kuvalaya means lotus, and Pida means to crush or to give pain. So Kuvalayapid means the elephant who enjoyed crushing other living entities. Even those who are gentle and soft and harmless as a lotus, he would still crush and he would enjoy. Such kind of a demon's elephant was so demoniac. So Kuvalaya peed. So that elephant, and Krishna Balram killed that elephant in a snap. Then they killed Kamsa and all his brothers. Then they they stayed in Mathura for 3 months, and then it was decided that these princes need to be trained. They have not gone to school in Vraj. They have not done any schooling. So they need to go to school now at 11 years, 6 months. So they were sent to Sandipani Rishi's ashram in Ujjain. And in Ujjain, where they learned 64 arts. They learned 64 arts in 64 days because they are Bhagwan themselves. And they came back, finished, course finished, came back. Then they stayed for 2 months, and Krishna could not stop thinking of Vrajavasis. So he sends Uddhava to Vraj with the message for the gopis. So this is, Uddhava's going back to Vraj. And then in the meanwhile, after that, Uddhava comes back and he begs to Krishna that he become a dust in Vraja, a dust which will be trampled upon by his devotees. And in the meantime, we then see many other pastimes are there, but Jarasandha, he attacks Mathura 17 times. And then on the 17th attempt, Jarasandha's army is coming from one side, and from the other side, Kala Yavana is attacking. Now, Kala Yavana had a boon that, he would not die in an easy way. So there is many, it's a long pastime. I'm just looking at the time. So, but anyway, so you can see Mathura is being sandwiched by two armies, and hence Krishna thinks, Balram and Krishna, they think, now we have to run away from here. Otherwise, Mathura will be destroyed. So they run away and they get Vishwakarma, the architect of the demigods, to create a city in the middle of the ocean. And that city is called Dwarka. So at the age of 25, they run to Dwarka. So you can see how Kuvalayapid is greeting Krishna. He's come to crush him. Krishna and Balram killing Chanur, Mushtik, and so many others. And then Parikshit Maharaj continues. Oh, Parikshit Maharaj asked, why did he kill Kamsa? Avadhit, it's aorist form, past tense. He killed long time ago, killed Kamsa. Why? So you can see Kamsa is actually Devaki's brother, not real brother. They are uncle's siblings. Yeah. And he really loved Devaki, but when he found out from the oracle, you can see from the sky splitting open, there is an oracle from the sky, and he wants to kill Devaki, but ultimately he gets killed by Krishna. And actually, just one tight blow, and that was it. Kamsa's killing wasn't very mysterious, and it was just one tight blow and finished. So you can see how anxious the Vrajavasis are, and the gopis are there up. So many things are there. And here they were then, after the killing, they were sent to the ashram of Sandipani in Ujjain, where they shaved their heads, and he taught them 64 arts. So these are 64 arts, traditional arts, that need to be learned by everyone. 64 subjects. And then you can see here um, the army of Jarasandha attacking, and Krishna, 25-year-old, he's protecting Mathura, but they are tired of these attacks. And when Kali Yavana attacks, you can see this black guy is Kali Yavana. He attacks the Lord starts running away. He was a Yavana actually. He is actually a descendant of Brigu. There's a long pastime. We cannot say that now. But um, Krishna runs, and hence his name became Rana Chod. Rana means the battlefield, Chod means one who has left, one who runs away from the battlefield. The Krishna and Balram run away. They go to Dwaraka. So Parikshit Maharaj says, Deham Manusham Ashritya, taking the birth or assuming the body of a Manushya, of a human being. Kati Varshani Vrishnibihi. How long did he stay like that with Vrishnis? So one of the acharyas, he explains, Ashritya here is used not because the Lord took shelter of human body, but because here he was pretending to be like ordinary human, the Supreme Lord. And The Acharya explains, in case of an actor may be able to play his role for 5 minutes, 10 minutes until he is on the stage. But when he is off the stage, he cannot play his role. He will become he who he really is. But similarly, somebody who is an expert may be able to act for a longer time. But the Lord, how long did he act like a human being? This is what he wants to ask. This is the real purport of the question. How many years the Lord spent in this human form? So the answer, of course, is the Lord was there for 125 years. And he says Vrishni Bihi, because again he recognizes, Parikshit recognizes Krishna as one of the Vrishnis, because he was born in King Vrishni's lineage. So he was recognized as one of the Vrishnis. So in the mind of Shukdev Goswami, he thinks how Krishna lived for 125 years, and Samba, grandchild, one of his child, he pretended to be a lady who is pregnant and went to the sages and asked the sages, "Oh, dear sages, you can see past, present, and future. Can you tell me whether this baby will be a boy or a girl?" And the sages said they understood it's not a baby, it's a fake, it's just a ball of cotton. But they wanted to make fun of the sages. These are all Yadus, children and grandchildren of Krishna, because they had become so arrogant, because they were all demigods who had appeared in the Yadu dynasty. Nobody could defeat them on the entire planet. So Krishna had to plan something to get rid of them so that they go back to where they came from. So the sages cursed Samba and said, "This child of yours will be a ball of iron, and that ball of iron will become the cause of destruction of your entire dynasty." And then we see that, they crush the ball and it's thrown into the sea, and then it grows as mangroves, as sharp mangroves on the banks. And one day all the Yadus, they are drunk, and some Yadus say, well, actually Pandavas had cheated against the Kauravas, and because the Yadus, they fought on behalf of the Kauravas side, because Krishna's army was on side of Duryodhan and Krishna himself was on side of Arjuna. So just 1 second, Prabhu. So um, so they kill each other, and they destroy each other. So this is how the destruction of the dynasty of Yadus took place. And then Parikshit is asking, how many years did he stay with the Vrishnis? And Yadupuryam, in the city of Yadus, Sahavat Vatsit. How many years did he stay in Yadupuri? Yadupuri is Dwarka. So when in Dwarka, how many years did he stay? He stayed for 100 years in Dwarka. So you see, this is after running away from Kali Havan. He created this city of Dwarka, which is in the middle of the ocean. Beautiful city. And he took with him all the residents of Mathura. They all transferred to Dwarka, and he was protecting all of them. So you can see from Mathura, which is here in central India, all the way about 1200 kilometers away is Dwarka, on the tip of, here in Gujarat, near Ran of Kutch. Uh, so there he stayed from the age of 26 to 125 years. So this is Dwarkadish temple even today. Dwarka is one of the four dham, Chatur dham. And this is Dwarkadish in Dwarka, the Lord, beautifully dressed. And the last question he asks is, Parikshit asks, in Dwarka, Patnyah Kati Abhavan Prabho. Patnyah Kati Abhavan. How many wives did he have? Now somebody may think, what kind of a question is this? Why is Parikshit Maharaj so keen to know how many wives Krishna has? So Acharyas have even explained that. They say Parikshit Maharaj was thinking, who were those fortunate women who the Lord accepted as his wives? Who were those fortunate ones? So he wanted to know. So you can see Rukmini was the principal one who was abducted, yeah, abducted by Krishna, as you can see. And then, this is he's with Rukmini. And then he had many, many children from many, many wives, 16,108 wives. And last word is Prabho. How many wives did Prabhu have? So why is the word Prabhu used? Prabhu means the Supreme Lord. So Acharyas explain the word Prabhu is used because only Krishna could have these many wives and satisfy all of them simultaneously. Once Narad Muni thought of visiting Krishna in Dwarka, and when he reached Dwarka, he could not believe his eyes. Why? Because he saw that Krishna was in thousands of palaces simultaneously. In one palace, he was sitting with his wife and they were performing yajna. Can you see the Brahmanas performing yajna? They were performing yajna. In another palace, he was with his wife and embracing her, and the other maidservants were looking after them. In yet another palace, you can see remotely here, he was with another wife. So Narada could not believe that Krishna had expanded. In each one of the palace, he was with each one of his wives. And actually, if you look at this photograph very closely, you see from the window, you see there is another palace. And you see there is Krishna again. And there is another queen. And there is another son. With from each queen, he had 10 sons and one daughter. Each queen. So you can see Krishna is simultaneously here with one son and then he is with another son there. And these are all yadus. Hmm? So there is also, you can see in here window, this window here below, there is Krishna and there is a gopi, a queen. So he's with a queen here, he's with the queen here and the son, and he's with the queen there and a son. And if you can see, if the picture was enlarged, there is also Krishna with his queen here, and there's Krishna with his queen here. So, so there are beautiful things in these photographs or pictures. Then Parikshit Maharaj said, now I have asked you all these questions, but there are so many things I may not have asked you. So he says, Etad anyatcha sarvam, this and everything else that I have not asked you. Please tell me, Mune Krishna Vicheshtitam. Oh Muni, please tell me all those Krishna Vicheshtitam, all those wonderful pastimes of Krishna. Oh Muni. Muni means Manana Shilaha. Iti Munihi. One who is constantly absorbed in the thoughts is Muni. So here he is referred to as Muni, the Acharyas say, because Shukdev Goswami was so absorbed in the thoughts of Krishna that he left his own house and completely naked. But the apsaras who were dancing in the apsaras who were bathing in a lake, when they saw him completely naked, they still did not feel anything because he was so absorbed. He was above the material distinguishing of male and female. Whereas when Vyasdev came running behind him to look for him, they immediately covered themselves because Vyasdev makes distinction between male and female. He is a grihastha. He is married to Vitika. But Shukadeva Goswami is a brahmachari, and not only a brahmachari, he is absorbed in the Lord. He makes no distinction. So he then says, Vaktum arhasi sarvadna. You are knower of everything, Shukdev. Vaktum arhasi. You deserve to speak to me these pastimes. I've established my qualification. My other greatest qualification is Shraddha because I am full of faith. Shraddha means one whose heart is fully placed in something, is Shraddha. So Shraddha means one who has got full faith. Please speak to me. Vaktum arhasi vistrutam. Vistrutam in details. Please speak to me his pastimes. You are Sarvadna. You know everything. Why do you know everything? Because you are the parrot of Srimati Radharani. Because you are the one who go and pass messages to Kṛṣṇa in his ears. You pass the message from Srimati Radharani. You are the messenger. Because you are there when Radha Krishna perform intimate pastimes and Radharani is caressing you. You can see here the the parrot is there with Radha and Krishna. So he is really prompting that you know everything. You have been in all pastimes. You have witnessed those pastimes. So please share those with me. And Shraddhadhana means one who has full faith in Krishna, and all worries end for one who has full faith in Krishna. So with this, in the next text, Parikshit Maharaj says, Na eshati dussahasakshunmam. I am not able to tolerate this intolerable hunger. Tyaktodam apibadhate. Because of my vow that I have to, I'm on the verge of death, I've given up even drinking water, and I cannot tolerate that, generally speaking. However, there is something mysterious that is happening. Because pibantam, because I am drinking twan mukham bhoja, chutam, that which is dripping from your lotus mouth, hari kathamritam, because I am drinking the katha or the nectar of the katha of Hari, which is dripping from your lotus mouth, because I am drinking that, na badhate, I am not disturbed by hunger or by thirst. Because if you remember, when I started my first session, I said, Shukadeva Goswami told Parikshit Maharaj, you take a break now. I've told you Krishna's pastime in 2 verses. Now you take a break. Eat something, drink, sleep for some time, rest, and then come back. Here, Parikshit Maharaj is saying, no badhate. Isn't it so mysterious that in the first canto, the reason why Parikshit Maharaj put the dead snake around the neck of Shamik Rishi was because Kshuditaha, Trushitaha, Brisham, very Brisham, Shudhitaha, very hungry, Trishitaha, very thirsty, and out of not being able to tolerate hunger and thirst, seeing the non-responsiveness of sage Shamik, he put the dead snake around the neck of Shamik. The same Parikshit is now able to tolerate hunger and thirst because he is able to constantly drink, but not ordinary water. He's constantly drinking the Kathamrita. So you can see how Parikshit, there is a dead snake. Can you see this dead snake? This dead snake he's bringing in from outside, and he's going to put it around his neck. But now he is pibantam, he's drinking mukham bhoja chutam. So you see, the acharyas have explained that mukha amboja, the mouth of Shukadeva Goswami, is compared to a lotus, a blue lotus, which blooms in bright sunlight. And when it blooms, it oozes nectar, drips nectar. And the honeybees who know the real value of that nectar come in swarms to suck that honey. Similarly, Parikshit Maharaj is saying, your mouth is like this lotus which is blooming and oozing nectar because it is having absorption in the sun of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. And I, like a honeybee, am sucking that nectar which is dripping from your lotus mouth. Such beautiful analogy. And it is similar to the analogy we gave earlier about the acharyas and us taking shelter of the acharyas. And why Harikatha Amritam? Why Harikatha is mentioned? So the acharyas explain Hari means one who takes away. One who takes away this fire of material existence, samsara davanala, this forest fire of material existence of samsara. Kṛṣṇa can take away that fire. And actually, there's a beautiful pastime where Kṛṣṇa is drinking all the fire when the fire demon comes to burn Vraja. So Kṛṣṇa can take away all the heat of samsara. Anyway, then Parikshit Maharaj, then Suta Goswami. So now this was a conversation between Parikshit and Shukadeva up to now. Now Suta Goswami is telling, he's so happy just to narrate this upakrama, this preface, this much, that he is telling, now he's telling Shaunaka, he's saying, Evam Nishamya Bhrugunandana Sadhuvadam. Thus hearing Bhrugunandana, O son of Bhrugu. Shaunak is the son of Bhrugu. Now why is he saying Bhrugunandana? So acharyas explain, it's because Suta is very, very happy that the questions are being asked by Shaunaka, who himself is son of Bhrigu. Bhrigu, who in the, I think it is the 89th chapter of 10th canto, he tested Vishnu by kicking him, by disrespecting Shiva and Brahma. Brahma was disrespected mentally, Shiva was disrespected verbally, Vishnu was disrespected physically. But Bhrigu wanted to find out who is the most supreme of the three, who is the supreme. And his measure of the supreme was he who is able to tolerate the most is the greatest. And so, after being kicked, Lord Vishnu actually bathed his feet and gave him a place to sit and greeted him nicely. So Bhrigu understood. Whereas Shiva was disturbed by Bhrigu verbally being disrespectful to Shiva. Shiva was disturbed. Brahma was disturbed by Bhrigu being mentally disrespectful. Because when Bhrigu went to Brahma, he did not give him respect. He did not bow down and give Brahma respect. So mentally Brahma was angry and he showed his anger. Shiva, he is a brother of Bhrigu. So when Shiva asked him to sit with him, please come sit, Bhrigu said, no, I don't sit with ghosts and hobgoblins and the masters of ghosts and hobgoblins, Bhut and Pishacha. So he abused Shiva verbally and Shiva became angry. But Lord Vishnu, although physically abused, which is worse than mental and verbal, Lord Vishnu still greeted Bhrigu. So he established for the three worlds that Lord Vishnu is the supreme. So that great saint Bhrigu, his son Shaunaka, so you are already great Shaunaka. Evam Nishamya Bhrigu Nandana, O Shaunaka, thus having heard Sadhuvadam, thus having heard the questions of Parikshit, Shukadeva Goswami replied. What was his first words, Shukadev's? Sadhu, sadhu. Sadhu means excellent, excellent. Literally it means excellent. So he congratulated Parikshit. When the speaker is asked the most excellent question. The speaker feels obliged and congratulates the questioner. Vaiyasaki sa Bhagavan atha Vishnu. He was Vaiyasaki. He was son of Vyasadev. Son of Vyasadev. Who? Shukdev, the son of Vyasadev. He congratulated by saying Sadhu, Sadhu. Can you see his hands? Sadhu, Sadhu, he's saying. Excellent. Vishnu Ratam. And who was Parikshit? Parikshit, Rata means one who has brought back to life. Vishnu brought him back to life. Parikshit was not ordinary. Vaiyasaki, the son of Vyasa, is not ordinary. Vishnu Ratam, he is not ordinary. And in fact, he is the one who Kali Kalmashagnam. Parikshit was so powerful, he could check even Kali. So he was protected and he checked Kali. Pratyarcha Kṛṣṇa Charitam Kali Kalmashagnam. Another meaning is, Acharya has explained that Kṛṣṇa Charitam, he congratulated Pratyarcha. He in fact worshipped. Shukdev Goswami worshipped Parikshit for the wonderful questions. Because Kṛṣṇa Charitam, the pastimes of Krishna, Kari Kalmasha Gnam, they actually destroy the Kalmasha, the sins and the pains of Kali. Vyahartum Arabhata Bhagavata Pradhanaha. And then Shukdev Goswami speech Vyahartum Arabhata. He began to speak. Arabhata began, Vyahartum to speak. Bhagavata Pradhana. And who is this Shukdev Goswami? He is Bhagavata Pradhana. Three meanings of Bhagavata Pradhana. One, he is the chief of all devotees. Bhagavatanam Pradhanaha Yaha Saha Bhagavata Pradhanaha. He who is chief amongst all devotees. Another meaning is one for whom Srimad Bhagavatam is Pradhan. Srimad Bhagavatam is most important. That Shukdev Goswami started to speak. Third meaning is Bhagavat means devotees, one for whom all the devotees of the Lord are most important. Such Shukdev Goswami started to speak. So Bhagavatam is most important, and Bhagavatam is actually non-different from Krishna, because the 12 cantos of Bhagavatam are actually the 12 cantos, the 12 limbs of Krishna. And we see how Vyasadeva could meditate on everything, and he understood the pastimes of the Lord through the grace of his Guru Narada, and he himself transferred the same knowledge to Shukdev. So Shukdev was not ordinary. And then Shukdev begins, and the first words of Shukdev of the 10th canto are Samyak Vyavasita Buddhihi. O king, your brain, your mind is now established in the right way. Tava Rajarshi Sattama. O Rajarshi, your mind is thoroughly established in the absorption of Krishna. Hence you have adhikar. So who has adhikar to enter into the 10th canto? When one is so greedy to hear about the pastimes of the Lord, and one who has read and understood and digested and realized and practiced the first 9 cantos of Srimad Bhagavatam. Vasudeva Kathayam Te. In the Katha of Vasudev, you have Yajjata Naishtiki Rati. You have natural Nishtha. You have attachment, unceasing attraction in the Katha of Vasudeva. So this is your qualification, Shukdev Goswami says. And if you see this word, the first word he says, Samyak Vyavasita. The same word is in Bhagavad Gita. Apichet Suduracharo Bhajate Mam Ananya Bhak. Only one who worships me with unalloyed devotional service. Sadhureva Samantavyaha. He is sadhu. And such a sadhu is Samyak Vyavasito Hisaha. The exact same words. The 10th canto is directly connected to Bhagavad Gita. Actually, this is another topic. We can see how Bhagavad Gita is so sweet because we understand Bhagavatam. So here he says that you are sadhu because your mind is fully absorbed in Krishna, and hence you are the rightful candidate to whom I can speak Bhagavatam. Shukdev Goswami says to Parikshit. And then he also calls Shukdev Goswami Rajarshi Sattama. Sattama. Rajarshi. Rajarshi means the best of kings. In fact, the Acharyas explain that Shukdev Goswami, if you remember in the initial verses, Parikshit Maharaj is telling Shukdev Goswami that you are Muni Sattama. Actually, there's a verse where she says, you are Muni Sattama, you are best of the Munis. Here, Shukdev Goswami is congratulating Parikshit and saying, I may be the best of the Munis, but you are the best of the Rajarishis, which means you are a Muni and you are a Raja. You have more qualities than me. See, the speaker is so humble. He is congratulating the questioner. And we see this in Bhagavad Gita again. Evam parampara praptam imam rajarishayo viduhu. Rajarishis, they knew this knowledge through parampara. So we can see King Parikshit, he was so powerful, he could check the four vices of Kali: drinking, meat eating, illicit sex, and gambling. And this is dharma, and this is earth, Mother Earth, Bhumi. So he had nishtha, naishtiki, nishtha and Vasudeva Katha. That nishtha is required. That nishtha is also one of the stages of bhakti, which is to be aspired for, according to Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu. And the last verse of the day, Shukdev Goswami, before he attempts to speak Krishna Katha, he tells such a sweet verse. He says, Vasudeva Katha Prashnaha, the Katha of Vasudev and questions related to Vasudev. Purusham Trin Punatihi, purifies three people. Trin, three people. Punati, purifies. Vaktaram, the one who speaks, is purified by Krishna Katha. Prachakam, one who asks the speaker to speak, he is purified. Shrotrims, one who hears Krishna Katha, he is purified. Tatpada Salilam Yatha, just like the water which has touched his feet. His feet, the Lord's feet. What is the meaning of the water that has touched his feet? So Acharyas have given broadly two explanations. One is Ganga, which has touched the feet of Lord Vishnu, and it falls down from the top of the Brahmalok and it purifies the higher planets, which is like the speaker, to the middle planets where Lord Shiva resides in Kailash. The Ganga purifies, which is like the questioner, and to the lower planets where Bhagirathi was sitting, Ganga purifies. And that is signifying the general listeners. Or another explanation is given, Tat Pada Salilam, that water which has touched the lotus feet of the Lord, is that water which has been used for the abhishek of the Shaligram. So the Acharyas explain that water which is, if you go to the temple, they have the abhishek water which they sprinkle, the water that's offered to the Lord in a conch shell, that's sprinkled on everyone. So the person who's sprinkling, he gets benefited. The person on whom the water is sprinkled also gets benefited. And the general people around also get benefited. And in fact, this is also the reason why I took up this offer of speaking the 3-day seminar, because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he says, the speaker is purified the most. Hence, he is mentioned first. Then the person who asks the speaker to speak, he becomes purified. Or the person who asks the questions, he becomes purified. And then those who listen intently, thoroughly, they become purified. So just because of my own personal greed, knowing this verse, that simply by attempting to speak, I certainly will be deeply purified, punati, purified. That is the reason I took up this offer of speaking, and that is my humble offering to Srila Prabhupada over the 3 days. And I hope this has inspired you to, uh, be absorbed in the pastimes of the Lord for the upcoming Janmashtami festival. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. And I will hand over to the organizers.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhu. That was fantastic. So sweet. His Grace Kartik Chandra Prabhu ki jai. You directly took us to Vrindavan, Mathura, Nandagam, just, sitting in one place we could visit and envision everything, Prabhu. That was so nice. Thank you so much for your hard work. Really appreciated. There are devotees, raised their hands. So I will ask Govinda Prabhu to have anything to say.
Yeah, I've just got a question put to Kartik Chandra Prabhu.
Yeah, please go ahead.
First of all, thank you very much, Prabhuji, for accepting these courses and delivering wonderful lectures over 3 days. My question is, sometimes when we hear this Krishna Katha and Krishna's pastime, when it comes to some demons, some of the demons are quite large in size. I mean, I was hearing a lecture, the speaker was talking about the demon was about 4 miles high. And then I'm thinking, if somebody's, if a non-devotee is sitting next to me and listen to these pastime of Krishna, and if you ask the question, about this, personality, the demons at this size and, magnitude, and if you question, what's the best way to explain? I mean, 4 miles high, it must be quite wide as well. So
Jiva Goswami, Srila Jiva Goswami has answered this question in his commentary of Brahma Samhita, and even in his commentary elsewhere, perhaps on the Shat Sandarbhas, one of the Krama Sandarbhas, perhaps, or Krama Sandarbha. So he says that Vrindavan, Vrajamandala is like a lotus. So if you can see me on the video, you can see my hand, I'm making the shape of a lotus. And Vraja directly responds to the desires of Krishna. So even if you think from Vrindavan to Govardhan, if you have to go, if you actually go to Vrindavan and then go to Govardhan Hill, just to travel from Vrindavan to Govardhan Hill, and if you have to walk to Govardhan, you are probably just going to manage to reach Govardhan and come back to Vrindavan in the whole day. That's all you will manage to do. But Krishna is said to go not just in Govardhan, but everywhere around Govardhan, all the forests, in less than 1 hour 40 minutes or 1 hour 44 minutes precise. So how can the Lord, walking, with the calves, with the small baby calves, how can the Lord go from Vrindavan and also from Nandagaon and Barsana? From Nandagaon, he goes to Govardhan. You can't walk nowadays. So how is that possible? So the explanation is given by Jiva Goswami that the dham, which is like a lotus, if you're looking at my hand, if this is Nandagaon, this is Govardhan, the distances in the dham, the lotus closes and opens according to the will of the Lord. So Nandagaon and Govardhan, which is so far apart, when it's closed, it may become just, a couple of meters apart. So just to enhance the pastimes of the Lord, the demons, innumerably tall and high, and the different distances that I mentioned, huge distances, they become shorter or longer according to the will of the Lord. So this is the explanation that's given by the acharyas.
Okay, so Madhav Kumar Prabhu, you also raised your hand. You wanted to say anything?
Yes, true. Kṛṣṇa Prabhu, thank you very much. This expansion and contraction you're referring to, isn't that Lord Balram's service?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
So Lord Balram is in charge of the Sandhini Shakti of the Lord. Sandhini is also the energy which is in charge of the Dham. Actually, not just the Dham, but it is in charge of everything, every single paraphernalia of the Lord is Sandhini Shakti. So in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastimes, the Mrudangas, the Kartalas, they are all Sandhini Shakti. So they are all So the way to understand is these are all participating, participatant energy, that which helps the devotees to participate in the pastime. So what helps the devotees to participate? The Dham. So Dham itself is Sandhini. So Dham itself is an expansion of Balaram. Or in Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's pastime, for Harinam, Mridanga, or Khola as they call, and Kartal, they are all Sandhini Shakti. Yes, thank you.
I remember a few years ago, the temple also is considered as Lord Balram's expansion, isn't it? Temple structure.
Yes, because it is non-different from the supreme abode of the Lord.
I remember a few years ago, we you know how Manchester Temple is. We're always sometimes cramped for space. So I was running up and down the temple, and I got hit by one of the walls inside. And one of the devotees very kindly explained to me, "Don't worry, you've just been blessed by Lord Balaram." So I remember that bit.
Yeah.
So just one announcement for everyone. After we announced yesterday that the Bhagavatam set is available for 108 pounds only, I had a few queries from people who wanted to, from devotees who wanted to get a set. But there's a little participative quiz that we organized another 3 weeks, Saturdays in the month of Bhadra. So the information will be shared again closer to time. And we're requesting devotees to attend a very short 30 to 45 minute session, very nice participative activity quiz based on the first canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam. And then from there, we draw lucky draws. The idea is to encourage people to read a little bit and then participate in a very simple quiz that Gaurana Trust Prabhu and Sumedha are organizing. So every Saturday, the rest 3 Saturdays, we will be doing that. And then a lucky draw will be drawn. And then one person is awarded the option to get the set for 108 pounds. Unfortunately, we only have so many, like three left. One was given away yesterday. So we only have 3 left. So we have to use a bit of discretion. I mean, I wish we had like so many to give one to everyone at that price, but unfortunately that's not the case. So for devotees, please keep a lookout for how to log in and participate in the quiz. 3 more Saturdays to go, 3 more sets to acquire at that transcendental price, 108 pounds. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Madhav Kumar Prabhu, for that. And Govinda Prabhu, you still wanted to say something?
One more question, Prabhuji. I've been to India twice, but I've never been to Vrindavan. But I was going to ask you, what would you say, or what's the best way to prepare ourselves mentally before we put our feet on the dam? Because it's quite, I mean, for me, it's, I can't just get a flight ticket and just walk into the dam. So it's a mysterious land. So how would you advise, we can prepare ourselves mentally before we enter the dam, Vrindavan?
Prabhu, could you unmute Kartik Chandra?
Yes, yes, Prabhu. It's a nice question, and the very fact that you have such a question shows that you are having a degree of sincerity. And unless one is sincere and very serious about serving the Dham will not reveal itself. So there is an example given of one British officer who went to the Dham thinking that I've heard so much from these Indians that Mathura is such a special place. And he went in the train and he got off at Mathura Junction train station. And as he got off, his feet fell in a cow dung pad. Cow dung is the first foot he put on the station was in the cow dung. And he felt so disgusted. He said, what? This is what the Hindus say that is the the highest place on earth. He boarded the same train and he left. So this pastime was mentioned by Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, as far as I can recollect. So Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur also said, don't take a return ticket to the Dham. What is the meaning? The meaning is that to enter the Dham, one has to really work on one's consciousness. And ultimately, the Dham is only revealed to the degree one's consciousness is evolved. But for us, for me, whose consciousness is not so evolved, who doesn't have much faith in the Lord or attachment or attraction for the pastimes of the Lord, for a person like me, there are certain guidelines. One should be very careful about the Dham Aprad. And it's mentioned in Chaitra Charitamrita what the Dham Aprads are. And these Dham Aprads will protect us from having the wrong mindset. And then, so we have to work on two things, do's and don'ts. Do's, we have to be always focused and absorbed in reading or hearing or chanting in association of devotees. This is very important, not alone. And preferably in shelter of a senior Vaishnava. If we go to the Dham, very casually roam around, very quickly, our conditioning is such, we will consider the Dham as just an ordinary place. Oh, there are pigs in the field and there are dogs barking, and look at that cat and look at these monkeys, and that's all it will be. That's all we will see. We will not see Vrindavana Ramya Sthana Divya Chintamani Dhama. This is not what we will see. For us to be able to see that, we have to be constantly absorbed and develop that greed. So these are the do's. The don'ts are the Dham Aprad, the Vaishnava Aprad. So I answered your question very briefly because of lack of time. I know we are over time already, but I hope that helps.
Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So thank you, Prabhu. There were a number of wonderful comments about your 3-day session, 3-day seminar. Several devotees have expressed their heartfelt thanks to you, Prabhu, and we are very grateful for your time and effort. We can definitely see that how much hard work you're put into, but it is definitely fruitful, and everybody's appreciating. And just for everybody's information, that Kartik Chandra Prabhu has kindly agreed to deliver lecture on the day of Janmashtami. This is bonus for you. This is a good news for you. On the night, Prabhuji is kindly agreed to deliver another session, so we will see him. And also, we will be in touch with him to organize another, like more classes on Srimad Bhagavatam. So Radhamohan Prabhu, if you are there, anything you wanted to mention about Janmashtami festival?
Nothing extra, Prabhuji. Just what we announced yesterday.
Yes.
So let's pray and hope that we have a very wonderful virtual Janmashtami. So first Janmashtami we're doing virtually. So let's see how it goes. So let's pray and that it goes very well. Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Thank you. Just for your information, we are having more Kṛṣṇa Katha tomorrow and day after as well. We are very much inspired by Kartik Chandra Prabhu classes, and we are enthused and got motivated. So there will be a couple of local devotees will be delivering some 1-hour lecture tomorrow evening and the day after as well. And on Janmashtami day, again, we will hear from Kartik Chandra Prabhu. So the communication will be sent out tomorrow. The session will be starting at 7 p.m. and again on Tuesday, again 7 p.m. So this is purely to hear more Kṛṣṇa Katha and relish Krishna's pastime before Janmashtami, so that we can prepare our consciousness and enter into Janmashtami festival. Once again, I would like to thank everyone, thank Kartik Chandra Prabhu and his family also, because when he's doing these sessions, his family also have to spend so much time and in separation especially. So we are very thankful to Kartik Chandra Prabhu and his family, and thankful to all the devotees for kindly attending and taking the advantage of these 3-day sessions. And we hope to see you tomorrow at 7 p.m. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. That's it from me. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.